sponsors flying into the screen means that it is time to begin the game, and we'll begin with our yellow Terran player from the Team TSL. He is...
GSL Clide.
Clide. Ever just try to say Clide in an epic voice? It's Clide. In a world where there's Clide, there's Clide. Clide. And on the upper right part of the map, winner of our last game. A little bit jet lagged, but he's doing okay. He is.
Slayers MMA.
Slayers MMA. These guys, you know, all the Slayers players and all the Korean players I traveled with this weekend are so much better at sleeping in planes and limos and stuff than I am. I was so jealous.
I suck at that.
I wish I could do that, man. I mean, the limo from the airport to the IPL, like, sleeping young, just like their heads on each other's shoulders sleeping. It was like the cutest thing I've ever seen, by the way. But I mean, I was so jealous. I was like, why can't I just put down my head and immediately go to sleep? I can't do it.
Slayer's Terrans are actually kittens.
I know. Slayer's Sleep, he didn't have any trouble sleeping. That was his name, man.
Oh, Sleep went as well? Oh, yeah, that's right. Sleep was there.
Yep, it was Sleep, MMA, and Ryung from Slayers. Well, Boxer too, but he, of course, took his, like, private spaceship or whatever he has.
Right.
Yep. Him and Jessica just...
he actually went to Atlantic City via space.
Probably. Like a medevac dropped him and Jessica out at the venue.
That's right.
I heard about that.
MMA putting his barracks in kind of an interesting location there, down at the south. I'm not sure. I wonder if that means that he's planning on going straight into a factory and he's going to float his barracks kind of Broodmore style, or if, I don't know. Maybe he just wants to hide that barracks for a little bit longer and freak out Clide and make him think he's got proxy racks or something.
It could be the good old hide something in plain sight maneuver, you know. Hear some people talk about that, where basically just put a little bit out of the way. Oh, and look at that. Look at that. Clyde's not even going to be able to see it. Really nice zoning by the Marine. Now, Clide should know that there's a barracks in the base end if he sees the Marine right there, but, you know, he didn't see where it was, so he's a little bit confused maybe.
Yep.
Oh,
and he's also...
Welcome to the base. The Marine will not shoot at you for a little while.
He's also not going to be... I guess might have been so that he could shield the scout away from the barracks to see what add-on he was making, because he is making a tech lab, and now we actually see another reason why that barracks is in that spot, because that Reaper is going to be a little bit faster getting to Clyde's base now. Yeah,
the Reaper will be able to use what I call the ridiculous cliffs on this map to jump up into the main. The cliffs I'm talking about are the ones between the third, normal third, and the main base. There's this little low ground where you can like jump stuff and blink stuff across and put siege tanks on.
Those have actually been removed in this version.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. When have those been gone? I didn't even know that.
Yesterday, we did it while you were gone.
We're
like, let's play a joke on Doa. While he's gone, we'll change the maps and he won't know
it. Guys, we get trolled by everyone. Oh well.
We also renamed Metalopolis to Plasticopolis.
Plasticopolis.
So that you'd say the wrong map name and we'd all laugh at you some more.
Oh, don't worry. I'd say the wrong map name all the time. You don't even need to rename it.
Okay.
I do that naturally. Blue Flame on the way for MMA. And that's another reason why I kind of hit things out of sight a little bit there. Oh, Reaper can beat a Hellion, though.
It's close.
Or not this time, though. Nice micro by Clide.
Very nice.
Actually.
Yeah,
was that? So that's a blue Hellion. Never mind. Isn't that? Is that a blue? Wait. Okay, that looked like a blue Hellion on my screen. Maybe my screen's just messed up. Maybe I've just become colorblind over the weekend, but I guess it is yellow.
Nope,
I don't know.
it's
hard
yellow.
to tell sometimes, isn't it?
It is.
Go with me on this one. Thank you.
I was watching the other day a pink Zerg playing versus a purple Zerg.
Oh, we had that at IPL.
I wasn't gonna say it, but that's where it was, and I couldn't tell what units were which. But luckily, we do make them play discernible colors here: yellow versus blue.
Well, when that happens, you just assume the player that's winning is Stefano, and you're always right. So.
And here comes some Hellions moving in. They do have the Blue Flame upgrade.
Yeah, but Blue Flame doesn't do too well against bunkers, so he's going to have to just settle back and get a little bit of map control with that instead. Now, MMA right now is basically just kind of chilling out. He's the one getting the bio upgrades this time.
Yep, and he got his expansion a little bit quicker as well.
Yeah.
So he's moving up in that sense, trying to get his economy going. He's got a lot of Marines hidden kind of back. Maybe he's trying to hide what he's doing a little bit, because he has 3 racks in the background. He's making a factory now.
Can you check to see if Clyde scanned MMA?
That's a good question.
I've been wondering about that.
Very good question.
By now, I'm sure he has.
He has not.
Oh, no, he hasn't. You're right.
Nope.
You're absolutely right.
Oh,
Oh, now he
just did
scans right there. Okay, so Clyde does scan.
Yep, and he saw all the Marines
He's
and
like,
the
"Doe's
factory.
Right. Doe's right. I need to scan." So he does. And there's kind of two very normal scan timings in TVT. One is at around 6:20 on the game clock, and the other one is around right now. If you
And
wanna go for
speaking
that
of
later
which,
scan.
MMA just scanned and spotted all the racks that Clyde has going on.
Nice. Both
Putting
players.
up 2 more racks, so Clyde putting some pressure on with Hellions, but switching into Bio.
So it looks like we're probably going to have another Marine tank here. Marine tank game.
That's what it looks like it's going to be. Clyde is switching over.
Oh,
and
he's
going
gonna
to
run right
by.
And he's going to kill a couple SCVs here. Oh, he's
Oh,
dropping the main at the same time. Clyde, you're so smart. Oh, the Marines from MMA lining up there too.
Oh, is he going to stop these Hellions? The ones at the expansion got shut down pretty quickly.
Only these Hellions survive to do damage, and they are doing damage with those Marines. Uh-oh. You know, at the very least, Clyde is going to kill a lot of Marines with this. This is going to be quite helpful. Oh, one SCV not getting the memo to not go to that side of the base.
Oh, is he going to polish them off before he gets more kills? Oh, he lines up his SCVs in a huge clump. Ugh, but they spread out a little bit. He's not going to get any more kills. 6 SCVs killed in total, but he has killed about a half dozen Marines as well.
Yeah, that's the real benefit of that is the Marines that he killed, not really the SCVs as much. But, you know, overall, the drop could have done a little bit better. Could have done a little bit more damage, maybe. MMA did a good job of cleaning that up.
That was actually a really good trade for MMA because in the units lost tab, the resources that Clide lost were actually a little bit more in that exchange. Well, total for the game he's lost less, but anyway, the Hellions were expensive.
I just don't know.
Sorry. What I'm trying to say is that was 7 Hellions that he used.
Yeah,
to kill
that's a big commitment.
12 other units. It's not the best.
The dropships see each other. It's going to be ready to catch this one. Oh no. Okay, good reaction by MMA there. Pulling away just in time. SCV is like, I want to shoot too. They can't. Pathetic SCV. You can't do anything but build buildings.
He can harvest minerals too.
I suppose.
Don't take that away from him.
Yes. That should be nicer. See, I talked to In Control at IPL, and he told me his criticism for my casting was that I was too nice. So I'm trying to be meaner. SCVs, you suck.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm trying, Joe.
So we do have Clyde pulling a little bit ahead in supply. He does have, wait, I think he has Siege Tech. Yes, he has Siege Tech already as well. And he's moving out with a decent little army here. MMA, I don't think he even has, no, MMA does not even have any tanks out yet. So if Clyde gets there with Siege mode and puts himself sieged up in the right position, he could really hurt MMA's expansion there. It looks like he might try and do that by this ledge.
I think so. That's what you can do on this map. The cliffs by the natural are quite abusable, I guess you could say.
But his tanks actually aren't anywhere nearby to defend those Marines on the high ground. Now he's moving in.
All right, this is where things are going to get a bit interesting.
Yep, things are getting hairy for MMA.
All depends on how he responds to this. If he responds well, he should do okay. He's going to lose this refinery, obviously, but if he kind of swings around the side, I don't know about that.
Oh no! Ah!
Oh man!
Taking tons of damage and losing a couple Marines to pick off that one Marine.
That's the thing is, Clyde has a Viking advantage too, but what MMA needs to do is try to swing around the outside and take these tanks there, but Clyde's got his Marines in position, so it's going to be really tough to do that.
Clyde is in a beautiful position. MMA is just now starting to make tanks, but he does not have siege mode research, so he's not going to be able to really get into good position against Clyde's tanks.
I don't really know what MMA was thinking at this time. I don't know what he's thinking, letting his command center almost die.
Oh no, actually the Vikings might polish it off. There's only a couple SCVs there to repair. He needs to get more on it. 50 hit points left, 30.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe he saved that.
The orbital got down to 30 hit points there for a moment.
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
Amazing. It's kind of like monster kill.
That's right.
All right, so MMA is in big trouble here, but he's still got a chance He's going to need to play these next couple minutes basically flawlessly if he wants to beat Clide here. I mean, Clyde's got a really good contain, a really good lockdown on this natural, but
I mean,
he might be overextending a little bit, actually.
Clyde's going to have to make a mistake here is what it comes down to.
Clyde might be making a mistake, actually. I feel like he might be just overextending a little bit here. He's kind of sitting in this place for a little bit too long.
Oh, and MMA, he's trying to get siege mode right now. Actually, no, he's still not even researching siege mode.
I feel like...
I don't know why, but basically MMA is planning on defending a little bit and going for a counterattack because all of his Marines
Clyde
have been
knows
sent
now.
to Clyde's base.
Yep, there he goes. He's heading home.
And he falls back. I don't...
Oh, is it going to be enough Marines? Stim for MMA. It's a big line dance. They both run away at the same time. They're like, we don't want to fight each other. Oh, MMA losing a medevac, though. And a lot of Stim going down on both the sides. Don't watch this if you want people to stay off drugs. That's what I'm saying. All the DARE instructors are like, oh, this is terrible.
Don't stim and drive.
Dare to keep Marines off Stim.
That's right. Clide still has the advantage here, but he has been pulled out of that advantageous position. MMA has managed to get siege mode up in the meantime, so he's going to be able to defend if these tanks try and siege up on the low ground this time. So MMA has actually...
Oh, he's going to drop the tanks. And he's going to maybe take one out, but here's the big fight here. Oh! Look at the concave from MMA. Man.
Wow.
Medevac's like, I'll drop you off here. It's much safer.
And MMA just traded about 15 supply for about 40 there.
Yeah.
And while MMA was doing all that juking in the middle and getting siege tech up, he also got his third going, which Clide has not gotten up yet. So MMA is way ahead. Well, not way ahead, but he's ahead now when he was really far behind.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's close to way ahead, I would say. And it was like I mentioned a bit earlier, where Clide just kind of stayed in that position outside the natural for a little bit too long. There's a point where you realize, all right, I'm not going to be able to really do much more damage here without really exposing myself. So it's time to pull back, time to just accept the mining time that I made them lose and just kind of take that as the damage I did and be happy with that. But it's hard to kind of find that moment in TVT. So. And
at the same time, he's also a little bit too hesitant. I don't know if he realized that MMA had nothing to defend against his siege mode, and he could have pressed in a little bit more aggressively as well, but he didn't do that either.
Yeah.
So exactly even supply right now.
+3 bioweapons, infantry weapons on the way for MMA, while +2 is not even going to be done by the time +3 hits. So MMA ahead with the upgrades as well. Now, to be fair, Clide is going to be a little bit ahead in the other stuff, but who cares? Here comes a big fight here, and this is a big mistake by MMA. Big mistake by MMA. Wow. That was a start.
As evidenced by the pool of blood, guts, and uniforms on the ground there.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a mistake indeed.
That was about as big of a mistake as you can make in TVT. Now, any lead that MMA had has been kind of squandered.
Yep. And Clide has the lead once again.
Yep. Whoops.
This reminds me of a horse race in a cartoon.
It looked like Code A from 4 seasons ago.
that too, actually.
But this is what happens in Marine Tank. I mean, I should be fair. This is what happens in Marine Tank TVT. Usually a player wins because another player makes a horrible mistake in their engagement.
Yeah, well,
that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, and when you say this looks like Code A from a few seasons ago,
TVT was popular. Yeah.
Hold that thought. Here comes another engagement. Siege mode going up. Is he going to be able to break through? No. Clyde's tanks are just going to barely be able to kill all those Marines.
If Clide continues to push, MMA's going to have a really hard time holding it off.
But yeah, what we used to see when Marine Tank was really prominent back then was both players would just take turns suiciding all of their Marines on enemy tank fire.
Yeah.
And it would go back and forth and back and forth. And just when you thought someone has an insurmountable lead, they would throw it away. And it's sad to see that happening here in Code S a little bit.
It's pretty smart by Clide. Sieging up from the low ground. He's got MMA in a good position right now. Oh, that tank not in a good position, though. And MMA's kind of stuck. He's back in the middle of the map with most of his forces. His Marines can't really engage here. He might try to medevac him in, but there are Vikings there for Clide as well, so that won't work terribly well either. MMA's just going to lose his factory. Oh, he does pick it up in time. Still might lose it.
Indeed, he might. He's got some Marines there. He's got tanks there now, so he can stop that incursion. But now Clide's going to go ahead and drop the expansion. That's going to get shut down, though.
Yep.
There we go.
And And both of these players just really trading blows here. I mean, I kind of feel like Clide maybe got a little bit too aggressive there too. I mean, he did some damage, and now he's falling back, but he's going back to the middle of the map again.
And speaking of the middle of the map, another huge fight. Clyde trying to break through the defended position that MMA had. It looks like he's just going to be able to do it because of the superior tank count.
I guess
Clyde
he was just that far ahead.
Clyde actually has 10 tanks to MMA's 3 right now, which is huge.
I always get a little bit worried when I see this type of thing, but Clide is really just that far ahead at this point. He can just kind of bull rush his way in here.
Yeah.
He gets +1 to his D20 with it.
Luckily, Clide is a dwarf, so he gets a +4 stability bonus. And here it goes, 10 tanks sieging up, and that is the end of MMA's army as siege mode completes. All those Marines getting obliterated.
That
he does
+3
kill off
weapon's really
a few
helping.
tanks, actually, though.
Yeah, that's that +3 weapons coming into play for MMA. It did a lot more damage than it normally
Wow.
would have.
What just happened there, man?
Marines and stim and +3 weapons. That's what happened, man.
That's what happened. That just happened.
That's what happens when you attack without enough Marines. Clyde's 3-3 is on the way.
I mean, usually 10 siege tanks are pretty much unstoppable against Marines, but you need something to buffer.
Yeah.
Whether it's be Hellions or other Marines or something like that, and he just, like you said, he didn't have quite enough of a buffer there to be executing that. Plus, MMA did catch him kind of in the middle of sieging, so he closed a little bit faster than he could have otherwise.
That's very true. And here's what happens in Marine tanks. I mean, look at the supplies. You kind of end up hovering between like 110 and 140 for most of the game with these Marine tank TVTs. And then, usually one player just happens to kill more at the end of a fight and wins. But there's a lot more that goes into it, really. I mean, the upgrades are a factor. Oh, losing drops is a factor.
That drop is short-lived.
And
is he going to see?
It really becomes the little things behind the scenes that cause those big engagements to go a certain way, too. So that's kind of the interesting things you kind of want to look for in these TVTs.
So I was holding my breath there. Clide didn't know that a nice, juicy orbital was sitting over there.
There's a nice, juicy drop from MMA, chasing away a lot of SCVs.
Does sensor tower.
Yep.
And gets out alive.
Yeah.
Doesn't get out Clyde.
Nope, gets out alive. Dude, TSL Alive is such a fun guy to hang out with. I never really knew him before this weekend. He was on our flight, spent a lot of time with him too, and he's such a funny guy.
I did not know that. I haven't really met him, really.
He didn't know how to say something would make him happy, so he's like, me, 3-1, and then he like pulled his mouth up in the shape of a grin. I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. You'd be happy if that happened. And he did pretty well in some things. And another drop from MMA coming in, doing a bit of damage here. Look at that.
You might be able to
+3
snipe
weapons
a tank.
again. Yeah.
MMA has pulled ahead in the supply again.
Oh no! Losing another tank. Oops. This drop, though, is doing a lot of damage. The medevac is trying to heal as fast as she can. She's got her finger down on the heal ray button, and that's really all she's doing. Got a lot of micro there. Oh, look at that, though. MMA taking out a lot of Clyde's tanks there while we weren't watching.
Yeah, these two Marines are camping Clyde's barracks, and finally it goes down. This reminds me of a fist fight in an old Western, like where they hit the other guy in the face, and then they actually, like, instead of kicking them while they're down, they actually grab them by the vest or whatever they're wearing, lift them up so they can hit him again, and then the other guy gets up and hits him in the face, and they're not actually dodging, they're not actually fighting, they're just kind of taking turns hitting each other.
The question is, when is either MMA or Clide going to grab the other one and throw them through the big plate glass window into the horse?
This might be the plate window getting crushed right now. Clyde with a lot more Marines, but is he going to be able to close the gap? Not as many tanks in the back.
Yeah.
MMA superior tank count in this battle. GG.
MMA takes a 2-0 lead. And the upgrades were very helpful. MMA was a little bit more careful about his engagements, and in the end, that's what mattered. MMA coming out on top in in some pretty brutal fisticuffs there. Call it that. Clide flies through the plate glass window, lands in the horse trough, and somewhere like there's like a bar tavern wench person kicking another guy over the railing on the second floor.
Yeah,
see that all the time. And someone's flipping over a table. Someone's throwing a shot glass at someone else. MMA picks up Clide, and he like slides him down the bar, and like Clide takes out all the drinks and flies off the other end. And then Boxer comes in and shoots his gun in the air, and everyone stops and turns at him. And then, there's some dialogue and the movie continues. It's basically the Old West version of what we just saw here, I'd say.
Unfortunately, Boxer still in the United States for now. He's sticking around for MLG.
Yeah, that's right.
And so he can't, unfortunately, if he wasn't, he would be right here on camera behind us shooting his gun in the air.
That's right.
But
Sheriff Boxer coming in to
we've missed out on it on account of...
see what all the commotion is. We're going to take a 5-minute break, guys. You guys can maybe go catch up on your old Western history. Come back, though, soon real quick. It's going to be more GSL action here at the GSL.